3. In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast, I have a special guest, a man that has taken some time out of his busy schedule to sit down with us. It is Nique Clifford, a projected first-round pick from Colorado State. We're going to talk about his pre-draft process and his journey to the NBA draft. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe. I don't have a co-host today, but I got a special guest, Nique Clifford. But before we get into this episode, I want to let you know, if you're not subscribed to the NBA Big Board YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop an episode. We're coming at you 5 days a week, and we got exclusive content. Fresh off a workout, if you saw the earlier episode with me and James, Nique was working out, getting busy, preparing for, I guess, your next set of NBA workouts, or just staying fresh while you're here in Chicago.
All the above.
All right, let's get right into, what's the pre-draft process like for you? I know this is your second go-around, but describe, what the pre-draft process is like.
So we do our pre-draft out in LA. I'm with Leif Sports Agency.
Shout out to Ty Ramaswamy.
Yeah, shout out Leif. So we'll usually lift in the morning at a spot called Meyer Institute. They're pretty high level, so we do a lot of lifting stuff, and it's tailored to kind of what we need as individual players. And then we'll work out after that for about an hour and a half. Get some hard work in, and then you get a little time to rest, and then later at night we'll go back and work out again. And so it's a busy schedule. We do that about every day except Sunday. So it's been pretty busy, but I feel like we all getting better.
So my question for you, as far as the pre-draft process, most guys have a glaring weakness or something that they need to work on.
Yeah.
And you are a player. When I evaluate your film and study your game, there isn't really a glaring weakness. You can't say, all right, the swing skill is can he shoot? Because you can pass, you can shoot, best rebounding guard or wing in the country. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So what is your focus? Is it just sharpening what you already have, or is there anything that you're really honing in on this offseason?
Yeah, I feel like my game is well-rounded. I could do a lot of different things, but there's a lot of areas I still want to improve. I'm pretty good in most categories, but there's a lot of areas I want to be great in, and so the consistency of three-point shooting, especially at the NBA range, being more consistent as a shooter, tightening my ball handling, just unlocks a lot of things, having a tight handle, and then becoming even better as a defender. I think that's going to help me elevate and continue to be established within the league once I do make it.
So where did you get the well-rounded game from?
I think just growing up, I was always a point guard. I was pretty small usually most of my life, and my dad taught me guard skills from a young age. He taught me how to rebound and get my teammates involved, and I think that just kind of catapulted who I became as a player. I was very unselfish and was about the team more than myself, and so I just always worked every single day on all my skills, whether I was ball handling, dribbling with both hands, using both hands to shoot when I was little. And I've done that till this day, and I think that's kind of helped me become who I am.
So you said he taught you how to rebound. How do you teach how to rebound?
No, it's a funny story.
I got to hear this.
I was, when I was little, I was one of the bigger kids, I guess, when we were real little, playing at the YMCA and whatnot. And so my dad would always make me, I always get every rebound because I was just bigger than everybody. So I would get the rebound and have to pass it to my teammates because I could have shot it and probably scored every time. But he wanted to get my teammates involved, so I'd get every rebound, just give it to my teammates. They'd miss, I'd go get another rebound, pass it out to another teammate. And so that kind of just taught me how to be unselfish, how to, pursue the ball, I guess, and kind of gave me that mentality of rebounding from a young age, and I just carried that through the rest of my career, and I take a lot of pride in it to this day. And my athleticism helps, my height helps a little bit too. Now that I'm a little bigger than I was when I was probably 5 years old or whatever. But I think it started from a young age.
But it's still weird to me because how do you teach someone how to rebound? And it's obviously effort, timing, and so on. But even at your height, 10 rebounds a game is crazy.
Yeah.
You average more rebounds than some centers. You average more rebounds than some 7-footers that are projected first-round picks. And so is it just like a natural instinct to go get the ball, or how does that work? Because I have a friend, I worked with him. He's playing professionally overseas, and he was a smaller guard, but he had this incentive where this team was going to pay him $400 cash per rebound.
Whew.
And
I'll take that deal.
He was a smaller guard, and so like I sat like on the bench with the team, and every like timeout he's like looking up like how many rebounds I got. But he was able to like kind of steal rebounds by getting the long ones, chasing them. But for him, he noticed like, all right, if I go chase these longer rebounds, it can turn into like a fast break in a sense. So with that being said, like for you getting rebounds, you're not only chasing or getting long rebounds. You're not doing it for like stats or anything like that, but you're going getting rebounds out of your area. It's almost like Josh Hart in a sense, as far as like being a wing rebounder. Yeah. But it's weird because it's like, I don't know how you work on that.
Yeah, no, it is. I think some of it is reading where somebody's shooting on the floor. Like, if somebody's shooting on this side of the floor, more times than not, the rebound will come off of the other side. So kind of reading where they're shooting on the floor a little bit. And also, if somebody's shooting farther away, it's more likely that a rebound is going to be off longer. So just kind of reading spaces on the floor of where people are shooting kind of helps. It's hard definitely to train it, but that kind of helps you. And then just, it's effort, like you said, pursuing the ball, wanting it more than somebody else, and just going up and getting it.
Yeah, I feel like rebounders are born. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you can do some box-out drills, but I feel like guys that are great rebounders, I mean, that's just a natural instinct. Like Russell Westbrook, excellent rebounder for a guard. Even Luka Doncic, not a great athlete, but he somehow knows how to get the rebound. And for him, actually for both of those guys, and I guess even in your case, getting those rebounds allows you to push the ball ahead in transition. Not only like score for yourself, but for teammates. All right, let's just talk about you talked about it a little bit, but when you first started playing and to now, like you've had some ups and some downs. You went to Colorado and didn't really get the opportunity to showcase everything you had. And then you go to Colorado State, you blow up. How did you stay focused and confident during that time?
Yeah, my journey it's been pretty crazy, been a roller coaster. Not at all what I expected going into college. I came in thinking I was going to be a starter, thinking I was going to be one and done just like every other kid. And reality hit, I didn't play. I was talented, but I just didn't play. I was on a veteran team. And
who was on that team?
Man, we had a really good team. We had, McKinley Wright, Evan Batty, Deshaun Schwartz, Jariah Horn, Jabari Walker, Tristan DeSilva. We had so many different dudes.
I forgot about that. So you had some NBA. NBA guys.
Yeah, some NBA guys.
Jabari's in the league.
McKinley did a stint in the league.
Dallas for a little while.
Yeah, so we had a lot of high-level dudes on that team, veteran dudes, and so that was a tough time for me because I was not used to not playing. I had never not played, so it really taught me how to be a great teammate, how to lift others up, see a different perspective from the bench, how to help my teammates when I'm not playing. So that time taught me things, and then going forward, I started to play a little more and learn and get that experience. Didn't have my best, I guess you could say, my best performances when I was at Colorado. But I learned a lot and went through a lot, and I think that helped build me to who I am now. Went to Colorado State, got a new opportunity and had a different role, and was just able to showcase and impact the game a little more. And, it was a great decision for me, but I'm glad I went to Colorado first and went through that before I went to Colorado State.
Yeah, that's interesting because in some cases you can say like going to the wrong school or picking the wrong situation could be costly. Millions on top of millions of dollars. But obviously you stayed confident, you believed in yourself. The days are getting longer and the weather's warming up and people are spending more time outside, which means it is the perfect time to refresh your outdoor space. So whether you are working with a big backyard or a small balcony, James got a big backyard. Wayfair's massive selection of outdoor essentials makes it easy to transform any space into your ideal summer setup. From comfy conversation sets to sleek dining tables and outdoor decor, they have it all. And they have the prices that fit your budget. So grab a brand new patio dining set and some string lights from Wayfair to help extend your outdoor space.
I have to get some of those.
I love the mix of styles that they offer. Wayfair makes it super easy to find pieces that match your vibe without spending a fortune. So check it out. Go to wayfair.com. They have a huge selection of outdoor furniture. Again, wayfair.com. That is WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style for every home. What made you choose Colorado State? I mean, considering that, they hate each other. The schools hate each other.
I know. Yeah, I didn't want to go to the rival school, but when it came down to making a mature basketball decision, Colorado State had recruited me in high school. They kind of kept a relationship here and there when they would see me at tournaments and things and always showed love. And so the first time I get into the portal, 2 minutes into it, Ali, our assistant coach, now the head coach over there, that was my guy, and he was the one that recruited me. He hit me up 2 minutes into the portal, and that's kind of when I knew they've showed that interest, they've showed that loyalty and belief in me since I was in high school. And even when I didn't have my best career at Colorado, they still believed in me. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of knew then and there and wanted to go through the process and see other schools, and they respected that. They weren't happy, of course, but they respected that, allowed me to go through that process. I really liked other schools like Loyola Chicago, and it was a tough decision because I didn't want to go to the rival school. I didn't want to stay in state again. I wanted to get somewhere and try something new, but ultimately came down to basketball decision, and that was the best fit for me and what I wanted to do.
It worked out, and now, in my opinion, you are a first-round pick. So you have the breakout year last year, and then you enter the draft. You ultimately decide to return to school. What made you decide to return to school, and also what made you decide not to enter the portal and go to some of the bigger name schools? Because I'm almost certain they were coming after you.
Yeah, there was a lot of big schools hitting my agents up. They were offering a lot more money than I did get at Colorado State. So they were offering a lot of money, but to me, it wasn't about money. It was about being in the right situation, being in somewhere that I trusted, knew the system, and felt good about, the long term. And so that's what I wanted to be a part of, and I knew I had that at Colorado State. And I ultimately decided to go back because I wanted to, improve. I wanted to, increase my stock. I wanted to go back and prove to people that everything they said about me that last year, that I was basically a fluke year because I only had one good year in college. I wanted to prove that wasn't true. And so I wanted to, just go back, get better, and kind of lead a team, challenge myself to be an everyday guy and get better.
It just shows how important the decisions are. So you leave Colorado, go to Colorado State, you have a big year, and then you had to make another decision. Do I stay here where I know the system, I know I'm the man, you're going to have an increased role this year, or do I go chase bigger money and have to start all over? And I've seen prospects faced with the same decision, and they choose to go up, and then the situation isn't what they thought they were, and then they end up losing the buzz that they had. And so it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how it can all change.
Yeah, there's not a lot of loyalty in college no more. Like dudes will go into bad situations, and I kind of understood. I had been in the situation that wasn't right for me, so I had already seen that and didn't want to risk going into a situation that just wasn't going to be a good fit for me. So I knew what I was getting myself into staying at Colorado State, people that invested into me, and I wanted to stay loyal to them.
And it's paying off.
Yeah, definitely paying off.
So when I look at your game from last year to this year, the most noticeable thing is that you get to the line, I want to say it's almost double the amount of free throw attempts. If I had like one knock on your game last year, I was like, he doesn't always show his athleticism and get in the paint. This year you showed that. I think it was like 5 free throw attempts per game. Was there a difference in like your approach? Was it because you had the ball a little bit more? Because that was like my only knock, and you addressed it.
Yeah, I think definitely it was something we worked on in the offseason because I didn't get to the line a lot last year, and that was something I needed to get better at. You know, just playing with my size, my physicality, trying to, you know, draw more fouls, and then guys just being more aggressive guarding me this year. I feel like that also played a factor into it. I feel like I could have even been better at drawing more fouls, being more aggressive. But that's something I'm going to continue to grow and get better at, especially in the NBA. You know how foul baiting goes nowadays. Like, everybody's drawing fouls nowadays. So it's like certain tricks and things you could do to draw more fouls, and that's something I want to learn.
Go to the cup and yell.
Yeah. And I'm not a huge flopper, but that's something I had to kind of learn. Yeah. Even this last year is like showcasing more, like throwing your head back, yelling a little more, like all that stuff really, it does help you get more fouls.
I had a friend that I used to work with. He was an NBA player, and he said that yelling got him 2 more free throw attempts per game.
It's
so
real.
the same move.
It's real.
But if he yelled and did a little arms,
it's real. Like refs really will call it if you just yell. I'm not a huge fan of it, but
he said they're human. They're human. Your natural instinct is if you hear a guy yell, you think he got fouled, and if he flops his head back. I mean, he wasn't like an exaggerated flop.
Okay.
But it was more like and he was like, when I'm off and the shot's not falling, I'm putting my head down, I'm going to the rack. Yeah. And any bump, I'm yelling, and I'll get some free throws, then I may get my rhythm, and so on.
It's easy.
So many tricks.
It's easy.
So many tricks to the game. All right, let's talk about your role in the NBA. I think there's a variety of roles that you can play. I think at the minimum, it's a 3-and-D floor spacer, but you have a lot more to your game than that role. What's the ideal role for you in the NBA?
You know, early on in my career, I'm mature enough to know I'm going to go in. I'm probably going to be a guy that's, you know, playing defense, rebounding, you know, making the catch and shoot 3, and then just playing off of closeouts when I get the opportunity. Maybe playing second side pick and roll if I do get that opportunity. But I'm not going to be the guy that's, you know, the man of the team, coming in, playing with the ball all the time. So it's finding ways to impact the game when I don't have the ball. You know, how can I help the, you know, the star players, make the game easier for them, and also like moving off ball, certain things like that. I gotta find ways to impact the game without the ball. As I continue to grow, as my career goes on, I want to develop into, you know, that star role of, you know, guys. Everybody went through it as a rookie. You know, Shea wasn't where he was his rookie year as where he is now. So, you know, I want to get to that point of where those guys are, but I know that takes time, a lot of work, and, you know, just earning your respect within the league.
What do you think your greatest strength is?
My greatest strength, I think, is my versatility.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Just providing a bunch of different things of whatever a team needs to help a team win.
How do you separate yourself from being a jack of all trades, master of none, to using your versatility as a strength? Because I've seen some guys, they do a lot of things well, but you're like, what is the one thing that they can hang their hat on? What do you think the difference is between, like I said, jack of all trades, master of none, or using your versatility as an asset?
I mean, I think I just try and use my versatility to, you know, impact the game in a variety of ways. Like, if I'm not shooting the ball well, I'm going to try and play defense. I'm going to try and rebound the ball. I feel like you can always play defense and rebound. Those are things you can always do.
And pass.
And facilitate. You know, your shot's not always going to be on, but having more to your game that it allows you to stay on the floor. Some guys are only good at one thing, so if they're not shooting the ball well, like, what else are they providing? So some guys can't stay on the floor. And so I think that's something that is a positive about myself and my game, is that I can still find a way to, you know, make an impact when I'm on the floor, even if I'm not shooting well.
Yeah. One of the things I look at when I'm watching the playoffs is it's kind of changed how I view prospects. Can this guy defend where he's not a liability on defense? And then can he knock down shots to where they're not like leaving him open and doubling off
Yeah.
the star player. And I think that you're the type of player that can come in and help a playoff team because you're not the type that's going to get picked on defense.
Yeah.
And one of the things about defense is you end the defensive possession with the rebound. We know you rebound, but you shot 37% like back-to-back years from three. I think it was almost like they're identical.
Yeah.
So I think that your versatility and your shooting allows you to stay on the floor. Let's talk about like your shooting this year. You started off in a slump, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then
I actually started off hot, and then
yeah.
went into a little slump, and then bounced back a little bit.
But that how long was it? A month? Or was it just like you couldn't miss? You carried the team because y'all weren't even supposed to make the tournament.
Yeah, no, we weren't.
Just take me through that whole last month of the season, and I mean, it was just crazy how, y'all, like I said, y'all weren't supposed to make the tournament. As a guy that covers the draft, I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm gonna see Nique Clifford on the biggest stage. And then you got hot. Like, just run through like some of the games and some of the memories from this.
Yeah, no, I wasn't hot in the tournament. I was missing in the tournament from three at least.
And devastating way to end your career.
But in the conference tournament and like before that, yeah, our team in general just got super hot. You know, we started gelling really well. We started just having fun, playing together, and just focusing on winning every single game. Like we wanted to just do anything we could to win, and I think that joy really helped us to just play freely as a team. And you know, I really stepped up, I felt like, and knew what it would take for us to, you know, make the tournament because we didn't have a strong start to the year. So we had to cover up some ground and make up for what was, I guess, lost time.
What was your best game?
My best game, probably Boise State this year.
That was a game y'all needed to win, right?
Yeah, it was a must-win game. At their house, senior night, packed, sold out like 13,000, 15,000 people, whatever it was. And just the environment was crazy. And then knowing we had to win that game to keep our tournament hopes alive, it was just a really big game. And so I kind of I just got into a flow. Like I just blacked out and was just playing really well.
You're being modest,
helped
man.
us win the
what
game.
What you finish with?
I think I had 36, and I don't know what else I had. I know I had 36 though.
Yeah, you can pencil you in for 9 rebounds.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a big win for us though.
It was a big win, and it was like a statement game for you. All right, let's talk about NBA draft process again. Have you done your interviews yet?
I've done a few interviews.
What's the craziest question that they've asked you?
Craziest question. Honestly, I haven't had too many crazy questions.
That's good.
You know, one team did ask me like what's something bad about you, because they haven't been able to, not necessarily bad, but like what's something negative about me, because they haven't been able to find nothing, I guess, negative that people have had to say about me.
That's
so that was a little
question.
different. Yeah, that was a little different. I didn't know exactly how to answer it, but that was a little different one.
I used to recruit college students for jobs, and I would prepare them for job interviews, and that was one of the questions I would prepare them for, because they would say,
really?
Tell me something negative about yourself that you need to work on. And I would coach them on, you got to make a negative a positive, by saying, I'm too hard on myself. I work out too much. I don't give myself enough time to rest. You know, like, you got to spin it. And I know, like, they're trying to, like, bait you into like seeing how you think. I actually heard,
and theirs was outside of basketball, so it was a little weird because it feels like a basketball related question. I could have said something like that, but it was like as a person or a socially, emotionally, that type of deal.
Yep, they're trying to get you. I know. I overheard one team asked a guy, should you be the first pick in the draft, or if you had the number 1 pick in the draft, would you select yourself? And they said one guy was like, I think so, but they were like, they wanted him to say yes, definitely. But I'm like, that's a trick question. It really because is. If you say you don't want to come off too arrogant, but you got to sell yourself, but you don't want to come off
have
as
that
not
balance.
confident. Yeah, so
no doubt.
I want to do like a an episode where I just ask different players, like, what are some of the crazy questions that are being asked?
That'll be a good one. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I'm sure there's some crazy questions. I haven't got too many, but
yeah,
there are some ones that throw you off though. I can't lie.
All right, last question. Draft night. You're a first-round pick, in my opinion. Adam Silver calls your name. What would that mean to you and your family?
It'd be the biggest blessing in the world. Worked my whole life for this since I was 3 years old. Meeting Adam Silver at the lottery the other day when I got to go and was fortunate enough to be a part of that. I wanted to shake his hand for the first time on that stage, so I was a little mad. But just meeting him the other day was like wow. I see this dude at the draft every year. He's the commissioner of the league. Like, it just felt unreal that I was even there. His hands are extremely soft. Like, it's weird, but like it was just like,
so you're saying
man,
it's collar white, not a blue collar.
Yeah,
guy.
it was like, this is Adam Silver, man. So it just threw me off. Like, I'm really here and this close to like being my reality. But it's just gonna mean the world to me and all the people that's helped me get to this point. You know, there's so many people I could thank and give gratitude towards, but just super grateful for my journey and for God to put me in this position I'm in.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on.
Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Special guest. I know his schedule is busy. After a workout, he's got NBA teams that are ready to interview him. So big shout out to Nique Clifford. Once again, that wraps up this episode, and we're out of here.